play story time again. So we got the fourth book of John, Joe, Jake, and Jim, and of course, recap. So, in our last episode, remember, they got stuck on the volcano island, and they went off to free their friends, Jake and Jim. John and Joe went off to free their friends, Jake and Jim, from the King Evil Spirit, who had an army of evil spirits. But when they came back, the houses and city they made were destroyed, and there were no Petries or werewolves, leading them to wonder, was it the spirits? Was it the Petries? Was it with the werewolves? But the one thing they did know is there was no one alive there, and no one dead. So, they sat around the burning wreck, and they were like, well, what do we even want to do? What is our end goal? I know we wanted to make a city, but after that, what do we want to do? Jake piped up, well, I think we should make it cities and have trees and houses. They like this idea. Then Jake said, and I want color most of all. They really like this idea. But then he had one more idea that they really, really did like. Oceans, like the ones made of water. Jake, John, Joe, and Jim really liked this idea from Jake because they really, 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 really liked oceans. Only the ones made of water, though. So, John, Joe, Jake, and Jim went across the land, spreading grass for color and greens and making vegetation. Then they went through and they turned the trees into non-invisible green and brown, nice-looking trees. Then they ended up at a roadblock. How were they going to go and make the land green and trees and forests and everything beautiful if there was Arrow-Weirds who didn't like them and who probably wouldn't want their land turning colorful? So when they went up to the Arrow-Weird city, the Arrow-Weirds chased them out, being like, we don't want color, because the Arrow-Weirds really didn't like color. Speaking of likes, you should like this video. It really does help. And I know you hear this a lot, but you can always unlike and you can always unsubscribe. And it really does help, and it encourages me to make more of these videos. And if you want different types of videos like games, whether it's board games, video games, please put that in the comments section. So back to the story. The Arrow-Weirds started putting on their helmets and their chest plates that had armholes, but there was no reason for the armholes. And their sort of flat-looking swords being held in their feet. They were ready for war. And that's what might happen if John, Joe, Jake, and Jim want